Hi everybody, I'm Joann Baker, Interior Design, and Just Beautiful Interiors. I invite you all to check out my website, in case I forget to say it later, JustBeautifulInteriors.com. So you can check some of my work and see what I've done in there. So how did I get into the design business? I started out, my career, most of my working life was as an insurance agent. So along the way, I felt like I really needed to express my desire for creativity. And a few years ago, I started taking art classes, and I said, oh, this is fun. I feel like I'm a kid again. So I feel like at this stage of my life, I have reinvented myself, and I went back to school, studied interior design, and worked with another designer for a while, and decided that this is the right time for me to go out on my own. So I've been now designing for about 3 years. So I love it. You know, it's really like a passion. It's really fun. It's not like work. It is a lot of work when you're involved in a project, but it's such a fun thing to do. And I love working with clients. Not everybody knows what their style is. Some people do, and they say, this is what I want, and they're very definite about that, and that's fine. And a lot of people really don't know. They're afraid to go in. They're afraid of colors. They're afraid of making a mistake, or, you know, like, there's a lot of things, you know, that you're not comfortable in doing, and that's not your area. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. So I think one of the ways to help you find your style, find what you like, is there's lots of websites out there now. A couple of favorites are Houzz and Pinterest, so if you haven't gone onto those, check them out. They're really fun. Houzz is a website, designers, and I think just the public can go on and post things that they like. So you get a really good idea of what people do like. One of the things that I do is also check magazines. I'm a great magazine person, so I brought along some samples today. And when I go to a client, when I'm visiting a client, if they haven't looked at Houzz or some of these websites and don't have an idea of what they really like, what I really want to do is sort of get into their heads and like, okay, what are your favorite colors? How are you going to use this room? How is the space going to be used? Because these are all important things. A pretty room is just a pretty room, but if you're not functioning in it, it doesn't mean anything. You want to evoke a feeling, like, how are you going to use this space? Like, here's an example of a room. I'll pass these around so you probably can't see it down there. But here's a very warm, cozy room. Things that we look for in design are like the different textures, like this is like an animal print or a hide on the ottoman here, and the rich leathers and the dark, warm colors. This is like a room you could go into and just cozy in, read a book, watch TV, or just sit there and meditate, have a really quiet afternoon. So, you know, some people like that nice warm feeling, and the guys, like with the man cave, you know, you like certain things where you like to go watch sports or whatever. Where your wife may want the sunroom and like bright colors and light, airy, beachy type scene. So everything evokes a feeling, and it's how we want to use the space. So some of the other things, you know, we look for, and I use these because when I have a client and I pull out all my little magazine articles in case they haven't looked and discovered their own style, and I say, look through and just tell me what you like or what you don't like. What you like, put it aside. And it's amazing when they are going through this, how much information I can get from this as to, you know, if they really are drawn to green or blue and they hate the yellows and the oranges, or vice versa. So, you know, color has a huge impact on people. And I see this, you know, and I practice colors, you know, going in my own house from room to room. A color that might look great in this room looks terrible out here because the light is all different. So there's so many things that you look for as a designer to make the space work for you. So here's some examples, some other examples. Here's an example of what we call, you know, like rhythm, and we want some things moving. You want the eye moving around. Colors can move the eye around. Shapes can move the eye around. Like here's the example of the shapes and the chandelier and the bed. It's like very different kinds of things that help draw a room together. You can create interest by doing some things like here's a bedroom. You can just put the bed against the wall, but you can, if you want an interesting space, here's some use of wallpaper and building some shelves to frame the bed in this room. So it really adds a lot of interest, and then you bring in the colors in the wallpaper through the pillows and into the ottoman or the thing at the end of the bed. So it always helps to have the rhythm going and repeating patterns and textures and all of these. These are things that we do in design. So we're looking for similar shapes and colors. Here's an example of, this is a more modern look where you have the more modern structure of the cabinets, the bookcase down here, and the windows. It all plays in the room. And again, you're feeling like you're part of the space. You're part of this room. So we'll just pass these down. Cool colors versus warm colors. People like some colors better than others. And here you're looking at some symmetry. Some people like everything on the space to be the same on either side. Or if you have a fireplace, you want the symmetry. Everything on the same space, and either way is fine. You just have to know what the client wants and what works best in the room. And then some fun things like, if you have an office or a den, there's some inexpensive ways also of making artwork. Here's some maps that are framed, which is not for everybody, but it's going to work for some people. An interest in an entry hall. When you walk into a space, when you walk into your house, is it inviting? Is it saying what you want about you? So these are all things that a designer can do, and this is working with the client. So, and also the other things that we can do as a designer is knowing resources. So if you said, Jay, I like this kind of a fabric, or this is what I think I want, I can send you to the fabric store that I use, and there's thousands and thousands of fabrics, and you could spend a weekend there and say, I'm crazy, what am I going to do here? None of this makes any sense to me. But if I've worked with you enough and I know I'm getting a sense of your style, what else you have in your space, what else is in the room, things that you love. You may have something that belonged to great-grandmother and say, this is important to me, or something from your travels, and this is important. You don't want everything to be all brand new or all matchy-matchy. It's not really the things that most people want. You want comfort in your home, things that are meaningful to you. So we can make those work for you. Like the fabrics, I can go in and pick out a selection of fabrics and then bring them to you and see what else is going on in the room for you. So we also have like the furniture. We have places that work with called To the Trade. We have the Pacific Design Center, the California Mart. There's a lot of the resale stores that will work with designers. So, you can take a look and see what you like. And as a designer, I can still buy it for you. But we do have access that not everybody would have access to. For the fabrics, for window treatments, for accessories, for a lot of things. And actually, I think people think when you're hiring a designer, you're going to be paying so much more money for these services. And in most cases, you're not. I mean, you may be paying a little bit of extra, but what you're gaining there, you're going to be saving probably and making mistakes. Your time and money, because your time is worth a lot, and we know where to go to get the things and say, okay, do you like this or do you not like it? it's also very costly, you know, to buy the wrong size sofa and bring it home and say, oh my God, this takes up the whole room. You can't walk around it. I can't get anything else in here because it's the wrong scale. So these are all the things that we've learned. We learned in design school, we learned in practice, and how this is going to come together and work for you. So, how does a designer charge? I want to pass out I have a little list here of some of my, these are package plans for you, for anybody who might be interested or anybody you know who is. And for my time, usually I charge $75 an hour, and that's very, very reasonable for designers. The average cost will be from $75 up to $150, or maybe even more if you're really a well-known designer. You can pay a lot more money. With my packages, I price this out like 5 hours of my time for $300. And that's averaging $60 an hour, so that's a real bargain. And actually, we can work either by the hour or by the job. And also, we do get some discounts when we're purchasing things from you, so we don't have to charge maybe as many hours if you're buying things from you. So you're not paying any more. You'll be paying retail or less with most of the purchases that you make through me or a designer. So, you know, example, the client I'm working with right now, I bought a home, and she says, okay, I need help with colors. I think I know what I want, but I don't know quite how to put it all together. And she'd been on House, and she'd been on other websites, and says, print it out. This is what I want. This is what I want in my interior. This is the color. And she'd been buying samples, and nothing was working. So you go to the paint store, you say a yellow is a yellow. Well, a yellow isn't a yellow. A blue is not a blue. And it takes a lot, you know. So I said, okay, let's just go with a $300 package. And, you know, I'm going to help you. This was the agreement. We're going to choose colors, and this is for our whole house. So this is like a lot of work that I'm doing for, you know, it's more than 5 hours actually, but I didn't charge any more than that because this is what I agreed to do. And we did pick the colors, and it was, she realized, you know, she says, I'm not comfortable in doing this on my own. So she had the painter come in, and she chickened out on a color. She says, oh, don't do that one, do this one. And then she had him paint it. She says, oh my God, this is awful, you were right. So, oh, thank God, okay. So we ended up repainting that wall, so she did. And then the other thing, the painter says, oh well, we have too many colors, they're trying to make it easy. So I'm telling her to use this lighter color down her hallway because it was a very dark hallway. And the painter says, oh no, let's just do the same color all the way through. That's the way it's done.
Get rid of that painter.
And yeah, she should have. So now as you walk down the hallway and it's very dark. And he painted the color in the living room the same as he had done in the other house. And I said, the wrong color. She says, I don't like that color. I said, no, I don't like it either. But at least, you know, I didn't tell her to do that. So now we're looking at new colors. So hopefully she's learning to trust me and say, do this. And, you know, so, but that, you know, that comes with experience, and it's still trial and error sometimes, especially when it comes to colors. But anyway, that little $300 job has turned into a lot more because she's doing a lot of work in her house, and I've been able to do her window treatments, area rugs, some really beautiful area rugs that she would never have shopped for. And she hasn't paid any more by doing this, by coming through me. She's still actually in some times paying less than she would have paid by walking into the store and buying them. Plus she wouldn't have known where to go. So what I'm looking for in clients, you know, as far as referrals, is say homeowners or business owners, your office. Your office is also a place you want to be comfortable in. You're spending many hours a day there. So colors of paint, or maybe some blinds at the window, a different change, can change it out without doing a lot of money. You can, you don't always have to do custom on everything. I do have sources, like some of the window treatments, they can get pretty expensive, depends on what your budget is. And in my own living room recently, I said, I'm really tired of these drapes, but I don't want to spend the money for custom. So I ordered, I have some ready-made drapes that are very beautifully done, and they're very nice for like a fraction of the cost of having them custom made. So it can be done. So budget is also, it has to be taken into consideration. Not everybody's going to be doing an entire home. If a new homeowner, maybe you're going to be doing it all, but maybe if you've been there for a long time and you just need to update a little bit, you can do a little bit at a time. Change the paint on the wall. Yes?
I have a question. We can tell you're very passionate about what you do, but I'm not learning anything about you. Why did you get into the business, and did you go to school to learn all of this decorating thing, or did you just wake up one day and you were really good at it, or?
No,
How did you get into it?
Thank you, Chris. I thought I did say that, but I guess I skipped over it.
He wants to hear more. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, how I got into it, I did go back to school. I've always had a passion for it. I look back over the years. I'm 20 years old and I'm in, night classes. I was taking design classes. That wasn't where my path led me as a career, but it was always with me. I've always loved designing. I've owned homes, I've remodeled homes, I'm always decorating. So this is a passion. I think it's a natural thing that I have, and I think I'm a bit intuitive when it comes to trying to figure out what people want. And I think I've been working with the clients enough, and so I just feel like it's something that I have within me. And I've taken art classes, and using what I've learned in art also transfers over to the design world. It's all very much in here. It's a creative process. It's a process. So.
But you did go to a design school.
Yes, I did. Yes, I went to actually Moore Park College. They don't have it now because of the budget cuts. But Moore Park College had a 2-year design certificate class, so it was a 2-year class. So I went there, and then you can go on to CSUN, or there's a few schools. UCLA Extension has some classes, but basically, I've done some of the other classes, but I've done the basic training was at Moore Park, the 2-year certificate. And then I also belong to professional organizations, ASID, American Society of Interior Designers, IDS, Interior Design Society. There's a local group, CAPID, Caneo Association of Professional Interior Designers. And we do continuing education like all professions do. We consider this, profession, and to have the training and the expertise. So we're constantly taking classes and knowing what's out there, what the resources are, what new products, what the trends are. Does that help with?
It does.
Okay.
And just thinking, you're passing along these, it's sort of like what I do, hopefully my customers go online and they look, and when they go to Cancun and they have a couple of properties and they're going to call, don't book the properties, call, find out what you want to do or get comfortable with where you are, and then call me and we'll do all the work.
Right.
Same thing you do, you're passing along these great little photos. So if I see a photo of something that, my living room would look great like that, well, I can't go ahead and do all of that stuff.
Right.
Even if I went to Home Depot and thought I could do it myself, like Michael probably can go to Home Depot and do all that stuff himself, but to call you and have you do it, that is so cool.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's the kind of person I'm looking for.
So Joann, with the power group idea in mind, what kind of person or client are you looking for? Can you be as descriptive and specific as possible? Is there a certain life event that happens when a client needs you, or age-wise, or geographics? And you can point out.
Well, the kind of person that I would be looking for is like, homeowners, especially if you just bought a home. realtors because, you know, I mean, as far as referrals, the realtors because they have access, they know who's buying homes, and maybe the mortgage brokers, I don't know. You know, when you're dealing with people who are refinancing, if they're going to be using this for any part of home remodel or anything. There's just so many ways that,
I gotta say something again, I'm so sorry, this is sort of lame. But I'm watching $1 million homes, $1 million listings of homes in New York City, right?
Right.
It's a thing on Bravo or something.
right,
And it's one of those trite things when you get home, you're really tired, and you just want to relax, you watch stuff like this, right?
right.
If you know, and real estate agents love food. I'm learning about this on this TV program, right?
Okay.
If you lay down food, real estate agent will come and eat the food, right? If you did a foodie thing and invited all the Thousand Oaks, Glory Hills,
Brokers Open.
Brokers Open,
Brokers okay.
you would absolutely do dynamite. They'd show up to eat. That's more serious. It might set you back $200 or $300, but I bet you get all kinds of leads, and you will just go crazy. And this thing you won't need this anymore.
Right, okay.
Just a thought.
If I can make a recommendation,
Sure.
You should look into commercial landowners.
Okay.
One of the things in my area in Chatsworth that they're really trying to do right now because the porn companies all left.
I'm sorry, because
All
what?
the porn companies.
Porno.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chatsworth.
Okay. Okay.
So there was a lot of them, and
were there.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a 30% vacancy right now in there, which to the point where I've actually reduced my rent in half because my landlord wants to keep me there because there's nobody else renting.
Okay.
But a lot of these large-scale buildings with people moving out and with the minimum wage going up, there's also a lot of manufacturing jobs that are leaving, a lot of office buildings that are opening. They're revamping it to try to bring in different types of jobs. And there's a lot of, like the newer ones before, I remember they would just, vacancy and they come in and paint the walls. But now they're adding in glass conference rooms and they're adding in accent walls and they're adding in, T5 lights that are energy efficient and they're adding in different things to try to attract the more techie type jobs and the more, no manufacturing but more business type and those type of people who have, 100,000 square foot buildings, paying $2,000 for your consulting is not going to be that big of a deal for them.
Right.
Where they can drop that pretty easily, you might be able to get some good stuff with that.
Right. Thank
on
you.
the commercial side.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
I was wondering too, because you're trying to attract more realtors to refer you business, have you also included staging homes as part of your design?
I have done staging. It's not something that I've really looked for that much. It's very labor intensive when I did it. This is
Moving
a lot
furniture.
of work.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So unless it was a job that could warrant charging enough to hire people to do all of this, it's really a tough job. So I've done staging and I do, it's part of what I can do, but I just haven't pursued that.
What is staging?
Setting up a room for demo.
Like you said, you go and set up a whole house with furniture or a small amount of furniture that looks really classy so
Yeah.
that
To
so that it sells
entice
them.
the homeowner.
To buy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hard to sell a vacant home, so people need to visualize and see what's there. So, yes.
Do you help people who are downsizing or moving into a retirement
Sure.
facility to brighten up their new place with
Absolutely.
their older pieces?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm starting to pursue some of that market because there are a lot of people doing that. And I know places like Leisure Village is very old, and I've been in a few of those places. It really needs some work, but it's great. You can do a lot with this. So yes, I love doing that kind of thing. So yes, thank you.
Do you also
Yeah.
bring your own contractors and your painters? Do you have access to that? Or
I have access to that. I have, you hire the contractor. I'm not a general contractor. So you will hire, but I can refer you. You talk to this person, this
recommend
person.
people?
Yes. And that's one of the things we do within the design groups also, especially our local design group that I'm affiliated with. We know who to hire and who not to hire. So if I need, like, I need a painter or I need a shutter, who does really good shutters with a reasonable price? We can put the word out, like who have you used, who have you had success with?
Good.
Who is really good, who's not so good. Yeah, so we have access to that, which is very, very important. Any other questions? How am I on time, Jack? Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Where
you're.
are you
25:30.
based? Did I miss that?
Pardon?
Where are you based?
Thousand Oaks. Yes, but I'll work anywhere in Ventura County and the west end of the San Fernando Valley. Actually, beyond there, unless it's a big enough job to warrant the time that it will take to go back and forth.
I have seen it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.